Welcome, dirty peasants, to episode 37 of Wartwood Gazette, the Amphibia podcast. This week we'll be covering Amphibia Season 1, Episode 17, Cursed and Fiddle Me This. I'm your host, Thembaticon, and joining me today we have Sunsfury
Hey up.
and Pixels.
What up, peeps?
Alright, thanks guys for coming on tonight. Or in the morning for you, Sunsfury. But there's no news this week, so I guess we can go right into, I guess, the first segment, which is Cursed. So let me pull up the credits. So Cursed was written by Geneva Mai, storyboards by Catherine Maruzek and Kyler Spears, and directed by Derek Kirk Kim. So the episode starts off with Sprig and Anne at the planter stand in the market. Sprig is struggling to break up with Maddie after their engagement way back in, I believe it was Hopluck. So Anne decides to help him out since she was dubbed the breakup queen back on Earth. But Maddie is a little bit too creepy even for her. So they decide to break up by text, which is just basically like a letter, paper airplane letter in this world. Before they did that though, they bumped into some guy named Barry who dropped all of his berries. That's not gonna come back. So they break up with Maddie, and then it cuts to this random storage shed in the woods where a shadowy figure is putting a curse on Sprig and Anne. So Anne and Sprig wake up the next day. Sprig is covered with hair, Anne is covered with feathers, and then Hop helps deduce that they've been cursed. So they come to the assumption that Maddie probably cursed them, and Anne tells Sprig to try and talk to her face to face, but Sprig just wants to avoid it and try to lift the curse themselves. That doesn't really lead anywhere. Their curses get a little bit worse, or even more worse. And then just when Sprig's about to go apologize to Maddie, she's actually at the door with the bread she was making yesterday. So this pretty much forces Sprig to confront her, admit he was wrong, and then begs Maddie to lift the curse. But turns out Maddie wasn't the one to actually curse them. Then she decides to help them out. She does her own little spell, and they follow a trail that leads them back to that same shed we saw earlier. They go inside. Turns out Barry was the one who put the curse on Sprig and Anne, because when they bumped into him, the berries that spilled were actually super rare berries that only grow once every 10 years. And then everyone thought Barry was a nice guy, but the truth is, on the inside, he's actually a very petty person, and his looks were deceiving, which goes back to how Sprig and Anne pursued Maddie this entire time. So Barry refuses to lift the curse on Sprig and Anne. Then Maddie decides that this is an abuse of magic, so they get into a little, I guess, witch fight. So then after they use up a bunch of spells, Maddie improvises at the last minute and then reverses the curses back on Barry, turning him into a giant fluffy bird. So the curse is lifted on Anne and Sprig. They're happy. They apologize to Maddie. And then Sprig and Maddie they're not engaged anymore, but they're just friends. And the segment ends with Sprig waking up in the middle of the night and noticing that Anne still has despite not being a crow anymore, still is picking on the ants on the floor. And that was Cursed. So yeah, this was a fun episode. I kind of liked how, even though this wasn't like a plot heavy episode, it still had a lot of continuity in this episode with like the Sprig and Maddie engagement throughout the past few episodes this season. And yeah, Maddie was great with like joining, I guess, the Spran adventure. And yeah, those are just my general thoughts on it for now. Pixels, what were your thoughts on the segment?
It was a pretty fun episode. I like the humor behind it. Berries. Just I love it. I also like his design. His design is just so whimsical. It's like a combination of the Mad Hatter and Willy Wonka. And I like seeing design like that. I love they basically turn into Muppets. Let's be frank, because Big Bird and was basically Big Bird, and I don't know what. Well, I know Sprig was a. You could just say that Sprig was some Muppet from Sesame Street. It's great to see Maddie too. You kind of just bruise Sprig down. Like the appearances don't matter. Come on, Sprig, appearances don't matter. And Sprig was basically like, "Damn, she's right." I love that. Like you keep going. The witch, the little duel between Barry and Maddie was pretty fun too. I like the animation. It was like 30 seconds, but I didn't mind it. It was quick. It was fun. I don't know. It was a pretty fun episode.
All right, thank you, Pixels. Sunsfury, what were your thoughts on this segment?
So I really like Cursed, just kind of because part and part of how it links us and leads us further into Amphibia's spooky side of things. This is the first time we've seen magic in a context outside of the Calamity Box and it transporting people to Amphibia. And now all of a sudden we see Maddie wielding it and actually being a spellcaster, which is not anything like we've met up until this point. And what I also quite like is how it all still fits with the general darker, like, it fits with the vibe of the Amphibia outdoors, where everything's just that slight bit unnerving, and that spider is a bit too big for me. That this curse is just that little bit spooky. It just fits generally really well with what we end up finding later in Amphibia. Kind of just like keeps on pushing that narrative and helps build the world of Amphibia quite well, which is what I really like, and some fun humor. Polly keeps on being very nice and deadpan, which is wonderful. And Anne's moment right at the end, the stinger, where she's just eating ants up on the floor, I loved. But it's also really nice because it's in addition to it being a fun joke, it's also showing how Anna's just getting more and more used to Amphibia, and we keep on seeing that happen and happen and happen, which is wonderful to see.
All right, thank you, Sunsfury. And yeah, like
It's a good way to
oh,
look at it too, like what you said. Because even the settings are like even the setting kind of changed a bit. With like, it's a bit quote unquote darker theme because we just see the shed labeled storage, and like this creepy part of the woods. It's a good way to look at it, Sunsfury. I haven't thought about that until now.
yeah, I also like how you mentioned like Polly earlier, like her and Hop Hop just have this like one-off thing of him trying to fix the door.
The door and the winches.
And I really like how like the magic in this episode was like a nice change of pace, but it didn't feel out of place in this world. And
Mhm.
Hop Hop really uh, Hop Hop really like gets the audience adjusted very quickly when he's just like, oh yeah, we have all these like different kinds of things in Amphibia and the dark arts, and just does that close up.
Oh, the close-ups. Close-ups in season 1 are great.
But I guess starting, we can going back to the beginning of the segment. I kind of like how like Sprig can just like jump into Anne's hair, and we've seen like Anne's hair can like be used as storage, like when Wally like put like I don't know how many
Yeah.
accordions in there.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I just thought it was interesting that Anne mentioned that she was the breakup queen back home, and
Like
like
it's a good thing.
I guess because I think yeah, Anne's 13, and just, and it's just I think it's just funny that they have relationships at that age.
Yeah. It's a bit early, but whatever.
And she was the breakup queen for her friends, and so like my like first thought comes to mind is like Sasha and Marcy,
Hmm.
which is uh I'm surprised Marcy had that could play that kind of game. But I just like I know Matt like the episode is like oh the episode's about like looks can be deceiving, but like Maddie is super creepy, man. Like she
Goth witch. Goth witch frog.
I guess like what her and Sprig both have in common is that they're both like
Frogs.
they both really don't pick up like any social cues that they might be being like a tad too much sometimes, which isn't a bad thing. It's just
Yeah.
like the way she's like slicing up the bread too. It's like can you
They
blame Sprig and
really.
Anne like for
Yeah, and that really helps us sell everything. It's great. It's great just how creepy she manages to be.
The music too the music too really helps.
Mhm. Oh, and speaking on that, just at the very end, in the stinger, there is just this un unnerving music. So you think it's going to be a some kind of twist on, oh my goodness, there's a curse still going on, or some kind of sinister end to the episode, and then it immediately cuts out, and we see Anne just eating ants off the floor.
Yeah,
Just the same.
because it shows like shadows,
Mm,
like Sprig walking down the staircase in like the dark,
yeah, it
but
shows
we
like a
just
big
see the
shape at the bottom right.
yeah,
yeah, and just all of the sinister music as well.
yeah. The music really helps set everything in this show.
Mm,
What I kind of like, which I love about,
And
because I
especially
feel like
oh sorry, go
I was
ahead
gonna
please.
say,
Yes.
I feel like music is really important now when it comes to cartoons, because
mm,
you need that depth of emotion of what's going on. Like Infinity Train's a great example of that. BoJack Horseman too. Even the Midnight Gospel too. So that's a really good has that feeling with the music they have. So it's just a side thought.
Yeah,
mm.
I didn't really think
Pretty.
about the music until like for this episode until now. I'm just listening to the I guess like the cauldron scene, which is nice. And
Mm-hmm.
I do like how this episode if it cuts to black, I think two times. So the first time with the like the curse being casted, and then like at the end with the funny stinger. So I guess that's maybe how they maybe when I watched this the first time when they do that like cut to black, maybe I thought oh Barry is gonna be maybe they're just like leaving an open end for Barry to come back and be a villain again, but no, it's just Anne eating ants. Anne ant
Oh.
eating.
Mhm. What, you got a better way to eat ants off the floor?
She just walks like where is she walking away even like
Yeah,
she just
so casually, like she did it before.
she's probably just like walking to the living room, but and then and the breakup queen, the curse being cast.
Oh, and not just the breakup queen, but also the angel of death.
Ah,
Actually, yeah, like I think Wally in the Wally and Anne episode, he like also like when she grabs him, he like shouts out like angel of death. I don't know, I just thought that was like a funny
mhm.
Yeah, it is.
reoccurring thing.
Just how much is going on here? And what have you done in your past life?
I
Yes.
also like along I love how Anne made a bird companion, Kurt.
Oh yeah,
That was his
Kurt the
name,
Crow.
Kurt the Crow.
He
He
just
just
flies
shows up.
in into her
And
hair.
I like the line after the curse is left. They're like, "Is this a curse or a blessing?" And Spring said, "Nah, it's a curse."
And it was literally a curse.
A curse. Like I love that. I love that. I love the dialogue.
Oh, and she
Hmm.
like you guys said, like Anne is kind of like just getting used to living in Amphibia. Like even when she's a bird, she's not too like
Bothered by
yeah,
it,
she's not too bothered by turning into a bird. It's like just
which is weird. Like wow. Like she screams at first, like she got hesitant with the feathers growing in her, but like the full transformation where she turned to like Mordecai from regular show. Like, huh.
yeah, she was like super chill about it. Where she tries to eat that worm in the floor, and then later on she tries to fly.
She tried. She kind of embraced it too. She embraced that lifestyle so quickly.
Yeah,
Bird Anne,
she's been adapting.
Like, damn, I'm a bird now. Guess I gotta do bird things.
bird
Bird
up.
up. Bird up. We were saying the same thing. I'm glad you were thinking that, Thumb. I'm glad.
That's a Eric Andre show reference.
Oh, please watch the Eric Andre show too.
But I'm not even sure like how like you can't even describe that show as like watching. You just experiencing something with your eyes.
Oh my god.
But
Mm.
oh, I think Spring reminds me of a like there's a Star versus Force of Evil character named Tad, and he's just like a ball of hair. And
Yeah,
he lived in the other girl Kelly's like they were
yeah.
boyfriend and girlfriend, but he basically lived on top of her head. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Yes, I'm very familiar, and I'm
No,
just like,
I'm not. I'm not. No.
I'm just sitting here thinking, ah, yes, what an experience that was. Oh.
uh,
What was that finale?
okay. But
Also,
I like that nice detail of like the bread figurines that Maddie made that were like burning in the oven. Well, not burning; they were baking in the oven. Like she was actually planning on giving it to them.
that is just so sinister.
I mean,
So
like from
funny.
Maddie's point of view, she probably just thought like, oh, just giving this like nice treat to them.
But like, and like, she even self-recognizes that she is kind of creepy, like straight up. Mm.
Yeah, so
Oh, Maddie's great.
she knows she's creepy, and then she gets mad, like she gets annoyed at Spring for like thinking she's creepy.
She gets annoyed at Sprig for thinking that she's a bad person.
Oh, right, right. Thanks for the.
Mhm.
Notable distinction there.
But Spring didn't really do anything like Hmm.
He assumed that she was the one who put the curse on him,
Oh yeah,
which,
that's the
Right.
whole
Because
thing.
she was the magic. She was like, the magic one. She was a
oh, hey,
magic
I'm a
girl.
creepy magic person, therefore I must be the person who casts curses on people for breaking up with me. And
But
then
So
her
but until this point, like
tenants
we
are...
didn't actually know she was a spellcaster. So yeah,
right.
now that you
No,
think about it, yeah,
no.
Sprig was probably just being super like he was jumping to conclusions. Like he didn't even know Maddie could cast spells, and then just immediately thought, "Oh, Maddie did this."
Oh, if there's somebody who I've annoyed, and somebody who clearly communes with the dark arts, because if that's the vibe they give off, must be.
And even like Sprig and Anne, as much as the town accept them and like them, they still like piss off a lot of the town. Like
Yes.
Croak and Punishment, they're basically just like breaking in and just like unwarranted stuff. Just like abusing power that wasn't even theirs. And Croak and Punisher, like
Yeah.
yeah, they've made a lot of enemies.
They've been rascals.
And yeah, Hop Pop's solution to fixing the door is just like what did he expect would
Come
happen?
on.
And then yeah,
I
then
mean,
once
he
again,
expected it to work.
He didn't do anything. He just put it back in place. He didn't fix the hinges or anything. It's like, yo, that's fine where it is. The
and then
explosion happened.
Polly's deadpan reaction, he just gets crushed by the weight of it.
Mhm.
Polly is such a mood in season 1. Oh my god.
Polly's always a mood. I guess maybe like
Yeah.
in season 3 she got a little too like when she got legs she was
Thanks.
sass, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
looking at the Barry and Maddie fight, is this our only case of like a magic versus magic fight
yes,
happening?
I believe so.
this is the first and only case
Yeah.
in all the way until 3A that two people fight with magic.
Yeah, like the beanbag. Or,
Two magic users fight each other.
yes, I guess that's what made this like fight kind of like unique. But at the end of the day, it was mostly just like it was like
Yeah.
bomb throwing.
Mm.
But then yeah, we get to see like Maddie like just quickly like come up with like a counter.
Mm.
I like how after this episode, I think especially in season 2, they have Maddie doing more
More stuff.
yeah, more magic stuff even.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Because I think up to this point, yeah, up to until this point, it was just her being creepy and oh, we had the voodoo dolls back in well, I wouldn't call it voodoo doll, just like she had that doll of Sprig.
Hmm.
Mm. She was establishing her creepiness for all to see.
And wait, so even back in like in Hopluck, she didn't know Sprig was coming and getting a like an arranged marriage, so she already had that Sprig doll made. It's been a while since I saw Hopluck, so it's just so interesting how like one of looking back in season 1, it's like our reoccurring like plot threads was like a 10-year-old's like arranged marriage, and then now in season 3, it's like oh the invasion of another universe.
How times have changed.
Yep.
Mm.
And I'm looking at the letter that Anne wrote. It wasn't even like
It was
It
so
was,
sudden. It was so
it,
sudden.
I'm going through the clip and I know she put like the shrug emoji. She
I
wrote
noticed.
out
Yeah,
the
I
shrug
noticed
emoji.
that. I noticed that too.
Dear Maddie, I break up with you.
Sprig. Mm.
Like she Anne is like peak. She's compensating for the text. Like she's committing to the text by like literally drawing out the
Oh yeah.
slashes and brackets. And I think we've gotten through most of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
Not really.
Yeah, no, I'm clear.
Okay. So I think we could, oh wow, that was actually really we covered most of the episode pretty quickly.
In the span of like 30 minutes.
But then I guess that
Close to
leaves more time for the next segment, which is Fiddle Me This.
Woohoo!
Written by Matt Brawley and Jack Ferrello, storyboards by Jen Strickland and Steve Wolfhard, and directed by Bert Yoon. So the episode starts off with the planners are just parking in front of like an Ascot store for Hop Hop. He's talking with the shopkeeper Wartilda, I believe that was her name, and she just mentions how her daughter got accepted to Newtopia University, which is probably good for their future since Ascots aren't as popular as they used to be, and then Hop Hop kind of relates with vegetable sales. So just as Hop Hop's thinking about how he can provide like a better future for Polly and Sprig, turns out there's a competition happening happening in a few days called Amphibia Has Got Talent, which is basically similar to like a talent show where people just show off their skills. And then when Anne explains that winning these kinds of competitions sets you for life, we get Hop Hop with his dream sequence of the planners living in success, with Anne somehow still there years later. But eventually he snaps out of it when the kids think he died. So then, like with Hop Hop realizing how important this talent show could be, he immediately sets out to help Sprig. Sprig, who wanted to sign up for fun and play his fiddle, Hop Hop is determined to get Sprig to win. So we cut back to the house. Hop Hop has already created like uh, a number or like a theme. He's already planned out everything for Sprig to do. Each of the kids get their own task. Polly thought she would be part of the talent show too, with her own unique yelling skills, which everyone immediately brushes off. And then Hop Hop explains to Sprig that they're going to be working hard nonstop to win this, and Sprig is a little bit conflicted about this. He just wanted to have fun. Well, he doesn't think they should be taking this too seriously. And then Hop Hop like compares he compares like the lack of success to like a worm outside, and that just
love that moment.
we eventually cut to like a montage of Hop Hop training Sprig. The days go by. So even though Sprig was pretty happy with his practice, the practice, I guess, the rehearsal he just did, Hop Hop is like super
Frantic.
yeah, super frantic of Sprig making like 4 mistakes.
That's a great word for that.
And then like Sprig like is starting to push back against Hop Hop, and then Hop Hop like pushes back and starts talking about like future savings, and kind of just like throws in his dream in a little bit.
Which is
to like
so
everyone's
funny.
confusion, and then just immediately cuts to the night of the competition.
Like, wait, back to the dream. Anne is still in Wartwood. Polly didn't get her legs, and Spriggs has some sort of hair. And I love the comment where, "Hey, I'm trying to die here, alright? Let me finish."
Let me pass away in peace.
Right.
He's like, can't you see I'm trying to pass on here? And then just the cut back to the present. But it's the night of the talent show. We get that quick glimpse of a bat getting shooed away. We see the different contestants. They're not all too. They're not blowing the judges away, especially Toadie and Toadstool, who get launched out. Sprig starts doing his performance. He's like, he has the costume animated for him. He has like the aesthetic, and then eventually he starts playing like the song "Flight of the Moth," and that's gets the crowd all riled up. Then like their practice, like whatever was in the montage, kind of comes back into play here with Anne like lifting him off the ground while he plays. But then unfortunately, just when everything seems like it's going well, a bat comes in and basically grabs Sprig.
So quickly, by the way.
Yeah, it's very sudden.
So it's snatched him.
So yeah, Sprig is snatched, and then Hop Up and Polly, Hop Up like basically comes up with another plan to save Sprig. And launches him and Polly off that catapult thing on the stage. They climb onto the bat. Polly uses her singing, to pretty much take down the bat. Pretty much ruins the stage, but everyone thinks this was all just an act, so they're all just like, they're just cheering them on. Yeah, so eventually we get this like confrontation between Sprig and Hop Hop. Like Sprig is like very upset that Hop Hop pushed him so much, and then like Hop Hop kind of like struggles to explain that he's kind of just like worried about the future for them and for him and Polly, and he just wanted to do something. He just wanted to make sure Sprig would have a better future, and then Sprig kind of just realizes what Hop Hop was trying to do, and he says like his quote was like, "Oh, like as long as like Hop Hop is with him, like his future's pretty cool." So they reunite. They win the tournament, not tournament. They win the talent show. It's that giant gold statue, which the new judges offer Sprig to come with them and tour the rest of the valley, but Hop Hop and Sprig are just happy where they are right now, and all the planners walk away with the statue just to
sell.
Yeah, to sell, to buy their house, to get their house out of like to pay off their mortgage. And then
Anne.
And then the episode ends with like the judges getting launched off by Toadie and Toadstool back for revenge. And that was Fiddle Me This, and I really enjoyed this episode. Like when you see an episode that's written by Matt Brawley and Jack Ferrero, you know it's like
it's good. It's great.
Not to discredit like the rest of the writers, just like when you see these guys like writing a segment, you know it's gonna be like very tightly written, really and then also there's a lot of like character moments between like this is mostly like a Hop Hop episode.
Yeah.
And his like relationship with Sprig and how Hop Hop's thinking about his kids. And yeah, it's really there's a lot of heart to this episode. I guess. Yeah. Pixels, what were your thoughts on this segment?
It was a really good episode. Again, I really like the music. The montage it reminded me of, you know, that SpongeBob episode with the SpongeBob training Gary for that race.
Oh, like the shell race.
Yes, that one. It reminded me of that. and I kind of like went back. Like I feel like that's a. I was looking at his tracksuit. I was like, huh, that's very. I was like, where have I seen that? Where have I seen that get up before? I searched up and I searched up the episode and I was wrong, but I just said but I feel like it kind of connects to that. It's like a little. It just reminds me of that for some reason. I kind of like at the end of the episode. Just it got a bit deep because Greg was hurt by what Hop Hop did, and
Hmm.
it's like, and you saw the tears in the eyes, like he was tearing up, like, and Sprague was doing really good. Um, but like we talked, we kind of talked about the relationship between both of them as the season went on. We're talking about, and like it grew more and more, and like they're kind of more open about it. They're more open about each other, which I really like, and I'm glad to see that. Um, I love Polly's take on the American talent of the talent shows in America because she just nailed it. She nailed it on the nose.
Oh yeah, with her and Anne like
Yeah, I forgot
wanting
what she
to.
said. I forgot what she said.
That is going to be really humiliating.
Right, right.
Yeah, then her and Anne just like start laughing to themselves.
like school talent shows because those are things still. Um, yeah, but back to that moment, like I'm glad they're being more open with each other too. Mostly Sprig, but Hop Hop is listening to what he's saying, and I like that. When we get to After the Rain, we kind of we'll see more of that, but that's a long ways away. And all in all, it's a really good episode. Really like this, and I actually like the name of the episode too. Fiddle me this,
Yeah, it's like a play on like riddle me this or.
right?
All right, thank you, Pixels. Sunsfury, what were your thoughts on the segment?
So I generally really like this episode. I absolutely adore the actual moment of performance. I really like the music. I like all of the staging. I just generally like the performative part of the show, the part of the episode. Uh, a few little moments. I like. It's kind of funny how much Hop Hop's vision of the future of this moment of success doesn't involve any of the actual characters actually having grown up at all. And because that kind of helps set up this fact that Hop Pop's dreams aren't kind of are only really taking into consideration what's going on now and aren't actually considering, oh, things might be different in the future, or who knows what will happen between now and actually then, and hey, maybe I should pay attention to what Sprig actually wants instead of me assuming what he wants, kind of thing. So I like that. Um, I like the introduction to the vibe of Newtopia because all of a sudden, Amphibia's Got Talent has come in, and oh, hey, look, here are some more newts, and it has a much more modern vibe to it than the rest of any of Amphibia's episodes have felt like. All of a sudden, they're putting on a stage performance, and oh, hey, look here, we've got some commentators that are introducing everything and comment and having all of these moments that we, the audience, are familiar with. And that sets it very far apart from what we know of Wartwood, and just kind of helps us not be quite so shocked, culture shocked, when we get to Newtopia way further on down in the show. We already have some kind of idea that, hey, Newtopia is this very, very, very different place, and here's a taste of it.
Okay, thank you, Sunsfury. Yeah, I really liked that detail about like Utopia being like this being a little bit more of a modern segment. I think while you mentioned that, I was trying to look at like past season 1 episodes if anything came a little bit close to like the modern vibe this episode gave off. I'm guessing like maybe Grubhog Day, but like that's more like a carnival. That feels more like a small town kind of activity. But yeah, this definitely feels more not I wouldn't say detached, but yeah, it does feel like a little bit more separate from like our typical
Mhm.
Wartwood culture.
Mm.
And then we do
I think.
get. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, I was just going to say, yeah, I think that's really important and great that it was pulled off so well.
And I guess like maybe Battle of the Bands. That was the most moderny thing that Warwood did after that. After this, because I can't think of any other like throughout season one. There's a lot of like every week Warwood's having like a new holiday or a new activity. So yeah, it's just nice. Yeah, you're right. It's nice to see that like that change in aesthetic. And I guess starting off with the episode, yeah, you covered the like the Utopia poster in the background. Uh, that was a like nice little the post like the picture of Utopia in that poster. It doesn't look really a lot like what we see now, but I think the concept art we saw for season two, like this is what this is like the concept art for Utopia, and it's just interesting to see how like that design changed because they were still working out the details, I guess.
Mm.
And I guess it would be hard to like to figure out a the design of a location in another season that you're probably not even guaranteed to have with these kinds of shows. And even just starting off the segment, I like how the town square it has Polly's spitting trophy on top back from Girls' Day. Was that the name of the
It
episode?
does? Whoa. Yeah, Girls Day Out.
Oh, girl time. Yeah, it has
Go.
Polly's
Ah,
like
yeah.
her like gold trophy like on top, which is nice. It shows Polly's dominance. And then like we get that joke of like hop up like reverse parking
That was
between
so funny.
Just
I love the look
think of
back
ahead.
with
the sheriff.
the guy, the sheriff. Sheriff said no, and the Hop was like, "Watch me."
Oh, sorry, the constable.
Yeah, I was like, constable, right? Or is it?
Yeah, like he's not even mad. He's just so disappointed.
It's like you dumbass.
And then Hopup's like, I'm doing it. I don't care.
Yeah, you gonna stop me?
Oh, I kind of like that. I didn't really think about Hopup's ascot until this like episode where they actually pointed out, because like not you don't see a lot of cartoon characters wearing an ascot. Like other than
Right.
Fred from Scooby Doo, that's the only character I can think of that shares that fashion sense.
Still wearing it.
I know for the Scooby like the recent Scooby Doo movie, they took away his like ascot,
Yeah.
and that was so like disappointing. But like at least I'm assuming whatever adaptations they have out now, like he has it again. But yeah, like Hop Hop and Fred are the only characters that I can think of with an ascot for their design. And
Mhm.
like they're the only ones who could like pull off that kind of like
Yeah.
fancy wear in like a casual setting.
It fits them. It just fits.
It's iconically old timey,
Yeah.
and
Right.
Yeah, but it's weird for Hop Hop. It's like it's old timey, but like it's casual wear.
yeah, but like Hop Pop's like his actual outfit, his standard outfit is like that kind of. Sure, I'm casual, but I'm going to look professional while I'm casual
Same with
kind of
Fred.
vibe. He dresses up properly every day.
For sure. Hop Up has a
Mhm.
good fashion set. Like even like all like the outfits Hop Up wears always like
He
look very
flaunts it.
dapper.
He flaunts it. He
Like
says, "Look,
you have one episode where he just looks like a sad bum, and then like another one he's like dressed as a sailor.
corpse not."
Oh, Hop Up. And even okay, so for that flashback, I know Sunsfury, you mentioned that like maybe it's Hop Up not really thinking about like the way the kids aren't really like grown up. It's just Hop Up like not really taking enough into consideration. But that what I kind of saw was just him like still seeing his kids as kids, even like 20 years in the future.
Hmm.
That's how I saw it. But yeah, I like how like Hop Up like imagined himself being like on his like
He's rich.
his
He's
final
just
his final day.
so wrinkled, deteriorated, hands pushing him. Jeez.
I like how like Sprig and Sprig and Polly are just like living the life, and then Hop Up just sees Anne as his caretaker.
Oh my god.
He's already getting used to Anne being the responsible one.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And the the way Hop Up just like introduces like the moth, there's just I don't know, it's just I found that so hilarious. And then like all the kids are immediately just like on board when he just like says like the moth, one of nature's most seductive animals, and all the kids are like, okay, like whatever, let's
Okay,
do this.
seems good to me.
And yeah, so like this segment is like I like how they tied back Polly's like scream thing into the end.
Mhm.
Because I remember first watching that, I didn't think that would like be something that would get brought up again. Like for stuff like the bat, like you kind of know, okay, the only reason they're putting the bat here is like this monstrous looking thing is it's probably gonna come back and be the
Yeah.
antagonist of the story. But like Polly, like just screaming and crashing everything coming comes crashing down. I just expected that to be just a one time gag. And
Mm.
yeah, like Pixels, you already brought this up, but the worm joke was hilarious.
It was hilarious. Because he you can see that he was starting to get more frantic. Because he just look at the worm.
Yeah, he's just like he's freaking out at the worm. And then Spring's just like Spring just gets so confused. Yeah, and Bill Farmer's has like great
He's
delivery.
great. He's oh my god.
And like just the look in Hop Hop's
Mm.
eyes is just like I'm gonna set a
Serious?
screenshot. He's just fully committed to this plot, regardless of like his sanity.
His his pupils are just it's like the Simpsons. It's like the Simpsons. The way the pupils are. Like the little dots are just separating a bit. Oh, hop hop.
Yeah, I kind of like how during the montage they have so when Anne actually drew the like possible outfit for Sprig, that actually is like ends up being the final design.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And then like I kind of like how it doesn't make like Anne when she's like sewing a new costume, it doesn't look it looks terrible, but like you can see like the attempt of like trying to get what she wanted before like just tossing into the incinerator.
Yeah.
So we went through the.
Come-
Oh, what's jealous cute? That expression.
That makes no sense. A jealous cute. And people are like, what does that even mean, jealous cute?
Hmm. What would jealous cute be? It's that kind of, oh, look at me, aren't I being such a. It's. Hmm.
It's like this being disgusted, but not really. I don't
I
know.
think it's being jealous, but in a way that people are like, oh, your first jealous moment. Isn't that so adorable? Just.
My God, Hop Pop.
And yeah, Pixels, like you said earlier, I like how like Sprig is Hop Hop is listening to Sprig in this episode, unlike like Sprig versus Hop Hop. I guess he just doesn't. It's just Hop Hop thinks he's like more correct, or he's like. I probably phrased that wrong, but uh, like yeah, it kind of feels like it doesn't tread the same storyline as Sprig versus Hop because here like Sprig is being very like very direct with Hop Pop instead of I don't know, just like we said, like by the like this episode feels so real. It's just like Sprig and Hop Pop are they're not too comedically. It doesn't treat like the fight as like super comedic like Sprig versus Hop Pop where their disagreement leads to them like mud wrestling. Like here, it's very like Sprig objects, Hop Pop like argues back, and then eventually like Sprig just follows through on what Hop Hop wants. Yeah, it's treated less for comedy here. It's a little bit more. I don't want to say serious. It's just more confrontational.
Hmm. Well, I think it is treated as more serious, like a real concern that's there. Hmm.
Yeah, and like I'm glad we haven't talked about the music yet. Like Amphibia's music isn't that like season one. Like it's not bad. Like all the ambient music and
Right.
the montage stuff is great, but like when Flight of the Moth came out, like that was immediately everyone's favorite track
Mm.
for a while. Like until
Oh,
maybe like season two when like we started getting more like themes and new tracks. Like Flight of the Moth was up there at the time.
yeah. Flight of the Moth was up here, just as, of course, the Amphibia intro and the Amphibia outro and theme.
And I guess like Lean on Me, but that was like that's not technically
Yeah, not
it's not an
nearly.
original song for Amphibia. Yeah, so like yeah, Flight of the Moth immediately was a standout.
Very.
And I think like the first few I don't know musical terminology, like bars of the Flight of the Moth kind of reminded me of the
You're
like
right.
The Comic Con music
Mm-hmm.
before it became its own thing, which is nice.
Okay. Mhm. Yeah, I'm
And
not sure what the Comic Con music is like, so.
oh, it's mostly like a it's imagine the very beginning of the intro, but just like stretched out a little bit longer.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah. I like how it also solidly puts the three phases of the song, like, line up.
Like
So there are sort of three different parts to the song. The first part where he's like unveiling himself, starting it up. The second time when the song really hits its stride and people are like really interested in it. And then the third phase where it gets amped up, Sprig starts flying. And I like how well the music has a moment to make itself bigger, makes itself grander, and it's really important. It was really important for that to hit properly, and it did, which is wonderful. And it feels like a performance.
Yeah, there's a three
Yeah.
act structure.
Ensemble, as you might say.
Mm.
Like a-
Mhm. Also, on a different note, we got Sprig's training montage here. I
Mm.
think we get one for Anne later on with combat camp, but it's always nice to go. Okay, yeah, this is where Sprig actually becomes physically capable of doing everything that he does later on. You can shut up about it doing odd things, that
Yeah.
odd crazy jumps. Point right here. Yep, see, he's had his training montage.
Oh, is this Sprig's first training montage?
Maybe. I'm not sure if it's his first one, but it's a major training montage where he does a whole lot of physical exercise, so
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
that kind of comes down as. I think I noticed it more in combat camp when Anne does it, because I'm always on the lookout for, okay, yep, this is the moment where we go, okay, she's going to be more capable from this point onwards and has a reason to be able to fight, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
can get to combat camp discussions when we actually get to combat camp
Yeah,
discussions.
that's fine. Yeah, like I like Sprig is I mean, be able to like play that fiddle while being like carried around midair is already a pretty uh award worthy feat of strength and
Yeah.
precision.
Dexterity.
Yeah, dexterity, that's the word. So yeah, we got I like the lighting, the for the night
The lighting
of,
was good.
yeah, with like the mushroom headlights or spotlights.
Mm-hmm.
And I know like I'm not being like a stickler for continuity, just like the moon, it's not red this time.
Oops.
I think was this episode and Wally and Anne like those were the episodes where the moon was like regular or similar to ours. I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
believe
didn't
so.
pay too much attention.
But I
I
think
didn't.
by season 2 and 3 it's like this kind of like error is like it's not existent, which is nice, I guess. Like season 1's a little bit more like
Lighthearted.
I wouldn't say lighthearted for like in related to like continuity, just like they're still
Mhm.
like figuring stuff out and
Yeah.
I mean, these are all small moments, like the calendars in season 3. It's not really a huge issue at all, and doesn't really
no
jump out.
Sunsfury. Every single crew member is responsible for
Right.
that travesty of a plot hole.
Look, just take me back to the days when we were arguing whether a flash of blue eyes was an animation error or intentional.
I mean, that's just so weird to think about.
Maybe that's
It's like the moon. It's like the moon is like the wrong color and the wrong shape. But it's like episode 1. They were super picky about, okay, make sure those eyes like glow just like blue for 5 frames.
maybe that's why we're all set off at trying to finding all of these exact details, because they worked once, and so it's gonna be important next time.
Man, it's just the price of visual storytelling.
Yeah.
If you notice one thing, you gotta notice everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
so like,
writing's pretty important.
what's pretty important?
Writing.
Writing, yeah. I mean, yeah, like back to this episode, it's like it's just pretty. I just like how everything tied back together, like hop on. Like I know this isn't uncommon for Amphibia, just this episode in particular. It's like you have hop hops like insecurities about like the future,
Yeah.
and then that goes into the story, and that is like the main like motivation for this whole story, and then that informs Sprig's training, and even Sprig's training, like some elements like are actually like useful for the actual performance itself. And then you have like the bat that comes back. You have like Polly screaming. It's like all these like little tiny things like make a big
Yeah.
difference, and all just make it like a solid episode. Oh, I like that earlier joke how Anne bought all the stuff for the talent even before they signed up for the talent show or committed to it. Like Anne already mortgaged the
Mortgaged the
house.
house.
Already.
I mean,
Like
maybe
how?
yeah, maybe that's why
They
Anne was so like chill going along with Hop Hop's thing because she knew like if they didn't win.
like you just right away just mortgage the whole house, but then it just
Oh,
Jesus, oh my god, this show.
So yeah, we got the yeah. I really like how I wish this episode just went a little. This episode gets like so close to talking about Hop Hop's like just age in general. Because like when I was before I rewatched this episode, I thought Hop Hop like talked about like, oh, I don't know how long I'll be around. But then when I rewatched the segment, he specifically talks about the stand, like how long the stand
mhm.
is going to be around, and it's not a bad like the Hop Hop's rationale and his way of thinking wasn't bad. I just wished that the show went just a little bit further and just brought up the fact that Hop Hop's like he's pretty old and he's looking after like young kids. Like maybe
I
that'd be a
mean,
little
to a degree,
too
that comes up in his flashback.
right. And like I guess the way the show like addresses it is they always end it off with like with a joke, and it's still hilarious with all like I think Nick was talking like mentioned last week or the week before how like season one had like so many like death jokes with Hop Hop, but then like by season two and three when he's like I guess a little bit more happy where he is right now, like the death joke stopped.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Or I guess the morbid humor for
Yeah,
Hop Hop
yeah, just like
specifically.
yeah, no, there's definitely plenty of morbid humor throughout the entire
Yeah,
thing.
because in season one, it feels like every episode, like there's this one joke where like they have to like bring up the fact that Hop Hop's gonna die. So like even just rewatching season one, it's a lot more like noticeable now because like after going through season two, it's like kind of like they kind of toned it down.
Yeah.
I guess they toned down the jokes, but they definitely upped the danger just to like all the characters in general.
Hmm. And all of the extras as well. But actually, it's pretty dangerous to be an extra in season one as well. Just getting carried away by bugs all the time and
Oh yeah.
gobbled up
You know,
by herons.
explosions just happening out of nowhere.
Oh, what a wonderfully terrifying place to be.
The town of 80 people or whatever, just just going through life, just praying that's not one of them. This episode, just
And I guess for this, like for all the Sprig and Hop Hop episodes, they really touch on Hop Hop being like concerned about the future and then like kind of pushing this responsibility onto Sprig. Like a lot of these episodes are involve something about like I guess legacy in terms of like what Hop Hop wants Sprig to be or how he wants Sprig to turn out. Because I know like there's Grubhog Day, there's this, to some extent, there's actually maybe not Sprig versus Hop Up, but definitely like Sprig gets schooled.
Yeah.
We get like a lot of these episodes of like Hop Hop trying to cope with the fact like about what these kids need to do when they grow up, even though like Sprig's pretty young. Like at this point in the series, he's only 10. Oh, and dating season as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and like Sunsfury, I'm looking at the stage itself, like the Newtopian like columns and all like the flowing water designs. We really don't see that kind of like design in Wartwood or around the valley. It's only really until like Newtopia where we kind of see that more, I guess. I don't know how to describe this like architecture, like
Utopian architecture.
yeah, I guess Newtopian architecture. Because like Newtopia, it's like a lot more like they have a lot more like water imagery in their stuff, if that makes sense.
And yeah, it does, and it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what they're going on there with the whole beach angle as well. It's interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, so I think I'm going through the episode again. Oh, we didn't talk about maybe I'm jumping back and forth, but I guess do you guys have any more thoughts about Fiddle Be This?
No.
Yeah, nothing more than general. I like this. It is fun. I don't think I think on my first watch through, I did not notice the foreshadowing of the bat eating moths. And so the bat actually just took me completely for surprise.
Oh,
which
and
is
just like
a
came
little
into frame.
embarrassing now that I noticed it was there.
Yeah.
Actually there. But yeah, no.
Yeah, like I just wanted to go back to like Cursed. I don't think we talked about the rebellion newspaper thing. It's just like a very like it's not very prominent like in the way that the Utopia I guess reference was brought up in Fiddle Me This. It's just interesting how like the show just like wanted to tease that, and it's just super like it's really weird how just like Hop Off. It's still like the more not more I think about it, just like looking back how like Hop Hop getting his vegetable stand and losing it, and then getting it back again was like the basically like the inciting action of reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so interesting to see. Like, I think in that poster, it doesn't really specify like it doesn't specify like why the rebellion was happening. It was just saying rebellion like gained steam, but it's like only until reunion where we like actually find out like all of like just some of these like actions that Hop Hop did ended up like sparking a revolution.
And Hop Hop is just so completely out of his depth in regards to it.
Yeah, it's just nice how like Cursed like of all episodes kind of just like had this was kind of the first glimpse of that.
Just tease it slightly in on the side and go, look at this. Fun little tidbits, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at the subreddit for the comments at the time. It's like people thought it was by Anne defying the toads and toad tax, but really it was like I think in reunion they did mention that I guess like the story got a little bit muddled when like more people started talking about it, where they thought like Hop Pop was the one who evaded the tax collectors or fought against them. But I guess like maybe I'm getting too far ahead of myself.
Yeah.
But I guess like I guess we can wrap up this episode.
I suppose we can.
We did our we talked a lot.
Oh, I'm looking at the credits for the judges don't have names. They're just Judge 1 and Judge 2.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if they don't need names, they don't get names.
Yeah, that's what they got launched off.
To be honest, I was expecting more fan art of these judges, but it never.
Really?
Because I just expected because like newts and
Yeah.
just
Ooh.
I just made the assumption like
Dumb.
Yeah, they were. They weren't necessarily the most like. They didn't make much of an impact
the female.
on
Oh, sorry.
the show.
The female newt kind of reminds me of Ashley Tisdale, like for her like Sharpay role
Yeah.
from High School Musical.
Mhm.
That's just like the vibe I got.
Hmm.
I guess the other guy would be what was his name? Her brother, from High School Musical, Ryan, I guess.
Guy.
I don't know why I remember this, but
Yeah, yes. You were probably forced to watch this.
I was.
Yeah, knew it.
I was forced. Air quotes.
Yeah, no, nothing to be ashamed about watching it by
it's like-
choice. Excuse
It's like
me.
I was forced to watch, but I didn't object.
Nothing to do. Might as well watch this.
Oh man. But yeah, I guess that pretty much concludes this week's episode, which is surprisingly short.
Well, 3 people, so
Yeah.
That's true.
fewer rampant opinions.
I guess since we have plenty of time, like, do you guys have just a random theory unrelated to this episode you want to get off your chest? Starting with, I guess, Pixels.
Well, I'm holding the Dr. K theory pretty. Well, no, not Dr. K. Dr. P.
Like, what do you
Theory.
mean?
But because I saw that we all saw that they vanished, and like we don't know how it got in Earth in the first place. So maybe, you know, the Doctor's in Earth. The Doctor's in a human world.
Oh, like they're still alive?
Oh, the journal author. Right.
Right, the journal author.
Oh, okay.
It was Dr. P, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I said Dr. K. Oh, that was RPM. Sorry. Yeah, but I'm holding it because it makes a lot of sense, especially when you see especially when you saw I feel like if you watch After the Rain and then on to True Colors, it kind of holds.
Okay.
That's like one of the big theories. So
How about you, Sunsfury? Any wacky theories you want to get out into the world?
frog theory.
I feel like in 3B, someone's gonna wind up on some kind of astral plane.
What?
I mean, personally, I wouldn't call that an out there theory. Like that's what I was expecting to happen with
Yeah.
Valeriana and Anne, and hopefully the Mother of Ohms is like an actual like deity and not a place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll
All
have to come up with
chilling
something spicy then.
in a reality between realities.
I just had a dumb theory just now.
Go ahead.
That King Andreas might die. And because I think I saw a fan art of like Darcy actually like killing Andreas so that she can get full power.
I mean, personally, like, I don't think Andrus is getting out of the series like alive. But yeah, I'd be surprised if Darcy was the one
Who doesn't?
like delivers like the final blow. It's just like
Yeah. I was like, oh,
Just surprised, honestly.
right.
But I guess with that, we can pretty much. I guess we can wrap up for
What
tonight.
about you? What about you?
My out there theory. Oh, that's a.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
I don't want to say Bazaar is coming back because I think that's more Nick's theory than my own. I think that the frog in the mural and the Mother of Olms are two separate deities.
Ooh.
And then the core is a self-made deity by like Newtopia. And I'm guessing each one of these deities are going to have some kind of relationship with each of the girls. And then these deities, like
guidance in a way.
Guidance in like on what not to be. Like
Okay.
So the core would be like wit without humility. And then the Mother of Olms, we've barely seen this. Like we've barely like seen this until season 3, other than like imagery. Maybe it's like so detached from the day-to-day events of like Amphibia that it like relies on people like Valeriana to like explain what's going on. But other than that, they're not too concerned. So I would consider that like heart without responsibility.
Yeah.
And then like the frog thing in the mural seems like it's offering powers for offering like the gift of fire. So maybe that's like it has the ability to do like to recharge the gems or something or do something, but it's like it's strength without like perseverance. It's just like it's probably sleeping somewhere. And like I'm hoping like that thing is like something like a lion turtle, but better.
A lion.
Like a lion turtle from like Avatar, where it's like
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Where it gives like a gift, not a gift, like it gives. It's like a primordial thing that gives knowledge to like maybe Sasha in this case, since each of the girls would have this like own godly, imperfect god that the girls manage to like learn from their mistakes, I guess, in a way. But yeah, that's just me.
Those are real. These are theories. Not like, oh my god, Anne's gonna lose an arm or Sasha's gonna lose an eye. These are theories.
Okay, I guess an out there theory.
No, hold up.
What?
Anne is gonna lose both her legs.
Oh my god.
Because in the no, but like actually, hear me out. In the mural, she has swords for legs.
Are you for real? You're for real.
She does.
It's just like it's her legs become just a giant sword.
Oh my god!
What's that Pokemon that's a sword?
I'm deadly serious about this, but I'm also not deadly serious.
Oh my god! We might as well say that. Oh my god, Sasha and Martian are calamity powers. Then if we're just throwing it out there, it's not gonna happen.
Wait, you're saying that they're not? You're saying that they're not going to get calamity powers?
They're not. They're not. Why you believe so? You? Oh my god.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think? What do you think, Thumb?
Ooh, because even Matt mentioned that, or not Matt. Sasha's voice actor Anna Kana mentioned like things would get like cosmic for Sasha before like Matt kind of like shushed her. So I'm maybe
in my fan art. You know how the fan art is. Like they're predicting a lot of crap, and he kind of got it right.
Look.
Alright, Sunsfury, go ahead.
I will leave it at they've already used it before.
Yes.
I don't think it's too hard to believe that they'll get a power up in like the last couple of episodes of real magic.
To be honest, I do. It would be really cool
Yeah.
This is almost Common Rider like. They just have their full power up and they just defeat the final boss. And like a damaged, broken up city or whatever it's gonna be at.
Oh, have you
This
guys
is-
watched the movie Akira?
No.
Okay, basically
Yep.
after Frogula Christmas, where we saw the nanotech that Andrews used to like make the Santa murder robot. Like I
Yeah.
think the core, like once Darcy's free, like the core is just going to like amass all this like just material, just become this like giant like kaiju boss fight.
Ah, like Godzilla's.
Yeah.
What's going on? That
I
would be
mean,
really
we do
cool.
have the giant missiles robot that we saw in the intro that may never actually exist, but could be how the assault begins.
Oh yeah, we never saw those like the standard soldier frobos on or sorry, frobots on Earth yet. But that's happening
Yeah,
We've
soon.
only seen that.
Yeah, I guess this is a
We're
good time
excited for the
to
danger that that'll bring.
yeah. What are your theories in the comments below?
Oh, I guess an out there theory would be uh the planners aren't related to the pink frog.
Oh my god.
Like Andrews is like flashback friend.
Just a random, just a ghost of similar frog to the planter, just not to the planter. Yo, you look so familiar.
I mean,
Ah.
that'd be
I want to know. I do want to know more about that other frog,
would it be
the
disappointing
toad.
if she wasn't related to the planners? Because like I feel like
Like
a lot
how
of
he.
there's like a lot of stuff like we've seen all the like the hints and people
Mhm.
bringing up Sprig's color, and then also Anne teleporting like into Wartwood with the box. It's like it, it it would make perfect sense if like the pink frog just like went to Earth, and then when Anne opened up the box on Earth, like it took her back to like the previous location where like pink frog like settled at the planner home and then just like went to Earth.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's a good. That's a good theory.
Ho, yes. Yeah, I'm not
Oh,
sure what to think on that whole regard, really.
We
crazy
have to
theory: Hop Hop
wait.
dies.
Oh God, Jesus Christ! So many like like the frog dissection. Like hot, it's just with like hop pop. It's like it's
Hop Hop time traveled and de-evolved into a regular frog, and then
hop pop is a clone of another hop pop. Hop.
so there's like millions of Hop Hops. Is there like a Hop Hop Prime where it's like
Hop pop
the source
infinity.
material of the the Hop Hop army, and it's like
Like Papa G.
it's
Like Papa G.
oh man, yeah.
Very like
Get
Papa
on tip,
G.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end it off for real this time.
Yes.
That pretty much concludes this week's recording.
No
Uh,
more theories, please.
Thanks, guys, for coming on, and we'll see you guys next week
Hooray.
for
Right,
I
yep.
believe what was next week's episode? It was
Episode 18.
the big bug ball game and combat camp.
Ooh.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Gonna do some space chain up in Amphibia.
All right. Bye, guys. See you guys next
Bye,
time.
guys.
Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, frog lovers. Bye.
Bye multiple times.
See ya.